huge crowd over there. Oh, they're all against the wall over there, guys. Okay.
I usually say, I was out here for 12 years. Are you sick of it? Yeah, and they'll start telling their story.
How long have you been out? 3 or 4 years. 30. You like it on the street?
I was like these girls out here just walking the streets. In the secular world, you're not allowed to share your testimony, and here I was able to share it openly at GCU. I think after you get abused so much, you just kind of get like a zombie. You're just like, is this really even happening? I can't even believe this is happening. It was just crazy. So messed up. My father was a Vietnam vet, and so he had a lot of PTSD and was alcoholic and very abusive to my mom. I had actually walked in on the chaos, and he left at that point in time. And so at that point, my sister and I kind of started getting into drugs and drinking and partying, and that's where the downward spiral began. I was really out of control. My mom said, you gotta go live with your dad. So she moved me out here. I was drinking with my dad at the bars. He would come home and he would get violent, and his eyes would just go black, and it was like a different person was there. He kicked me out. I ran, got in my car, and he came running after me with a knife and slashed my tire. I mean, it was crazy. So I just decided not to go back, and that's how I ended up on the streets. I would sleep on bus benches or go from place to place, house to house. One day, I just cried out to God. And so he started working behind the scenes, and everything in my life started shifting. It wasn't until I got into a halfway house and started working my steps and going to church that my life really started changing. That's when I just started looking at schools. I started looking at GCU, and that day the storm stopped in my life. I got my bachelor's degree in accounting and got a job at a law firm, and I enrolled in a master's in Divinity at GCU. It was an awesome experience. I feel like every class along the way at GCU helped me find my purpose. The professors in MDiv are all ministers. They're not just teachers. It's actual pastors who have real life experience teaching you what they know and passing it along to you. I've used my accounting skills all along the way to do the ministry that he's called me to do. I wouldn't have been able to build what he asked me to build. I was working full-time in accounting and going to school online. As a single mom, it just made it so much easier to just plow right through and get my degree. The great thing is that you can go online and take one class at a time, and it's like 8-week classes. So you're actually going full time. Every time I mentor a woman and she's ready to go to college, I tell her, go to GCU, because at GCU, you'll actually find your purpose. At IdentiFreed, we rescue women from trafficking, domestic violence, and addiction. I usually say I was out here for 12 years, and we do discipleship on Tuesdays. We have the thrift store where they can come in and look for clothes and get outfits and hygiene and resources and help getting off the streets. We also have an outreach warehouse where other ministries can come and get hygiene and clothes. And we are currently in the process of building a salon so that we can get their hair done. That's our next step. It's really awesome. And then we hit the streets and rescue women from the streets. Each one is a little different. It depends on what we have here. And then that would be like a bag that we would hand to talk to her. When we go out on the streets, we offer pizza and sodas and hygiene to the men and hygiene to the women in purses. We use the purses basically that are filled with hygiene and makeup to open the door to talk to the women on the track. We minister to them in there. The men are not allowed in the bus once we're stopped, and the men minister to the men outside. One time we rescued an 18-year-old girl from a 30-year-old trafficker, and he shot at our bus. So we try to ramp up the way that we minister to the guys to keep them distracted. A lot of times people get discouraged because it's like, oh, it's not happening fast enough, but it's more about, persistence breaks down resistance. They may not come off the streets tonight, but maybe 20 times later, she's going to say, okay, I'm ready. One of our girls who was in a wheelchair, she was shot in the head. She's paralyzed on half of her body. It took about 25 to 30 times of contact with her before she was ready to come off the streets. It's about building trust, and that's who we're dealing with. But once they do, it's really awesome to watch. We have a lot of churches that partner with us, all the denominations coming together, worshiping God. When we're together, we can do so much. At most other schools, you'll lose who you are. They don't promote faith the way that they do here, so you'll find your God-given purpose here. It's the only organization, and especially a school, that I've been to where you actually feel the peace of the Lord here, and you feel welcome. They look at you as a person and not a number. I had never experienced that before. It's truly amazing. You're actually having an experience that's worth every penny. I would say the hardest thing about coming off the streets from a girl who's been living off of men, getting easy money and things easily, is being self-supporting, trusting God that God's going to provide for you, trusting that He's going to carry me through this degree. He was actually chasing after me the whole time. It's not easy, but He's with you the whole way, and you have God-centered, Christ-centered people around you cheering you on, and that's priceless. That degree opens doors for you that wouldn't normally be open. The Word says that it's the power of our testimony that's going to reach people. And here I was able to share it, to build on it, to talk about it, to grow and to heal and to become everything that God wanted me to. I'm Carrie Bradley, and I graduated from GCU with a bachelor's in accounting and a master's in divinity.